Hello and welcome to part 32, I think, of Danganronpa 2. Let's get on with it.
When I witnessed Nekomaru early in the morning...
This will make sense if you saw part 31 first. If you're just jumping into part 32, it's in the middle of a 4th class trial. And we just figured out that Nekomaru was killed at 7:30 and all the clocks in the building were changed, so everybody got up at the wrong time and missed Monokuma Taichi.
If I recall, you witnessed Nekomaru around 5 a.m. And if that time was also 2 hours off, it should have been 7 a.m. Yeah, that's pretty much it. At that time, he was heading over to Monokuma Taichi, right on schedule.
I see. Now that I think about it, I realize what Monokuma meant when he said those words.
What words?
Too early! He didn't even ask you yet!
When you said everyone, you were including us, right? We thought we came to the tower on time, but in truth, it was way past the meeting time.
Aw, jeez! That's, well, how should I put it? What was it? You know, tripping over a foot, or something like that.
Putting your foot in your mouth?
Are you talking about tripping over someone else's fault?
Wrong! Too bad!
Liar! I'm right!
No, you're not.
That's not it! It's incorrect!
That's definitely the correct answer. You always get so stubborn like this.
Let's just ignore the peanut gallery. Now that we've found out how the killer lured Nekomaru,
How are they the peanut gallery? They're participants.
the number of suspects has drastically decreased.
They're not direct participants in the class trial, but they're conducting it.
Hey, why would that decrease the number of suspects? Don't be a friggin' liar!
You'll know I'm not lying when you listen to what Fuyuhiko's going to say next.
Huh? What the hell do you mean?
You witnessed Nekomaru going toward the tower. Did something else happen after that?
Are you talking about that alarm?
Alarm?
A little while after I witnessed Nekomaru, the clock in the Strawberry House lounge started going off. Plus, it was just before that rumbling sound occurred. That's it. So that's what it is. If Nekomaru died when the rumble happened, then whoever doesn't have an alibi at the time is the prime suspect.
Really? Was there anyone who didn't have an alibi at that time?
I remember now.
It's the girls.
The sound was so loud I couldn't help bolting from my room. But there was one guy who never left the lounge. We were both on the same floor. It's pretty weird that bastard never came out of his guest room.
Which means that person does not have an alibi for when Nekomaru fell?
Who is it? Who's the bastard?
Is it Gundam? Or is it Nagito?
Crap!
Must be Nagito.
You're the only one!
The one who wasn't there. It's you, right, Nagito?
If you can't check the truth bullets when you're doing that, then... I can't keep everything in my head. I need to write stuff down.
That's right! Nagito wasn't there! It was just me, Gundam, and Fuyuhiko.
Yeah, I remember that now.
You didn't come out, even though the alarm was going off like crazy. You weren't in your room, were you?
If that's the case, where were you?
Please, say something!
If you don't hurry up and answer, I'm gonna suicide dive you!
If I may be frank, even if I wanted to go to the lounge, I couldn't.
You couldn't? What do you mean?
It's merely the foolish talk of the weak.
Shut up, Gundam.
Not only did I not hear the alarm, I never even heard that rumbling sound.
You're definitely fucking lying!
However, That is also true for me. It is obvious that I did not hear the alarm in Strawberry House. But I did not hear the rumbling sound either. Is that not strange? I mean, everyone else heard it.
To be honest, it's not just them. The same goes for me too.
People in the deluxe rooms can't hear it.
I was in a pretty deep sleep, so I thought that's why I couldn't hear it, but it wasn't that. I probably couldn't hear it at all.
Couldn't hear it? What does that mean?
You still don't know. Think about what the three of us who didn't hear a sound have in common, and I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Oh, shite. Oops, wrong one. What? No.
Nagito, Sonia, and Chiaki. The three of you were staying in deluxe rooms, right?
As was Nekomaru.
If I recall, the deluxe rooms are...
Soundproof.
The reason we could not hear the rumbling noise...
That's right. It was because the deluxe rooms have superior sound insulation. You actually noticed that. Nice catch, Hajime. Are you using your ultimate reserve corps student talent? Now then, you guys must understand by now, right? The true identity of Nekomaru's killer.
Hold on a sec! Why does that lead to who the killer is?
Why? Well, that fact just now is a very important clue, and a decisive factor in identifying the killer.
Decisive factor?
Crap!
Deluxe room should be the clue.
Crap!
Let's see if you need.
Crap! Crap!
At least Chiaki and...
Crap! Crap!
Chiaki's the only one I haven't selected. Well, sounds like Gundam.
Crap!
Gundam wasn't in the left room.
You're the only one!
Really? How's it Gundam?
Gundam, there's something I want to ask you. When the alarm rang at the Strawberry House Lounge, you rushed over there too, right?
What's wrong with that? If the bell of catastrophe rings throughout the night, it is the universe's providence to stop it.
Oh wait, he was in the deluxe room.
Why were you able to hear it?
Hear what?
I mean, you were also staying in a deluxe room, right? Nagito was staying in a deluxe room in the same house on the same floor, and he couldn't even hear it.
For some reason I got in my head that Nekomaru was in the deluxe room. Is there a room assignment with the bullet? No, so I just have to remember that, and I misremembered. I thought Nekomaru was in the deluxe room and Gundam was in the regular room. So that's why I got confused. Oh well.
So why were you able to hear that alarm?
Now that you mention it,
Gundam?
There's only one possibility. You weren't in your room at the time. That's why, even though you were staying in a deluxe room, you still went to the lounge. Am I right?
Gundam, you have some sort of explanation, right?
Aw, your little Quashy Wash is a murderer.
Gundam probably couldn't return to his room because of Fuyuhiko.
Me?
After you saw Nekomaru heading to the tower, you stayed at the lounge for a while. Am I correct? Until the moment that alarm started ringing, right? If you were in the lounge for that long, the killer who had left earlier obviously wouldn't be able to go back.
Even though Mekamaru's murder was a death trap that utilized the alarm in his chest, the killer still needed to prepare the murder in advance.
like putting Nekomaru in sleep mode and tying him up with the wire.
In order to do that, the killer needed to be waiting for Nekomaru at the tower. Which means when Fuyuhiko witnessed Nekomaru, the killer was already at the tower.
And once they tried to go back, they couldn't because Fuyuhiko was at the lounge.
In their original plan, the killer should have returned to their room before the alarm in the lounge went off. And they were supposed to stay in their room. They weren't planning to come out and go to the lounge.
Which means they wouldn't have heard the alarm or the rumbling sound, thus proving they were in the room.
Just like us.
The best case scenario would have been if those two in the lounge had gone to check the deluxe rooms. After all, if they personally saw the killer sleeping in their room, it gives the killer a stronger alibi. Unfortunately, they failed to secure that alibi.
Because I was in the lounge.
So the killer couldn't go back to their room, and ended up hearing the lounge's alarm.
But why'd you come out? You should have hid till the excitement died down.
If Gundam tried to hide, and if those two went to his room to check on him, he would have been found out. That would have been the worst possible outcome. That's why he couldn't just stay hidden.
If those two had just checked the deluxe rooms as planned, that would have been ideal, but how ironic. The moment Fuyuhiko set foot in the lounge, your plan was doomed.
How's that ironic?
Gundam? Please, can you at least say something?
You're gonna be doing a panic talk action at, like, 0 health.
Answer me this, including myself in my 4 dark devas of destruction. How many ears do we possess?
10.
The answer is 10. That's right, I possess 10 ears. That means I have 5 times the hearing of a normal human. The soundproof system here may as well not exist.
That's not how biology works.
Is that your argument?
You bastard! Do you understand the situation you're in right now?
Do not panic. The truth shall now commence. At the time, I left my room to go to the bathroom. By coincidence, I heard the alarm. That's right. That's all it was. The world is always so simple.
Are you saying it was just a coincidence? Isn't that timing a little too perfect?
And yet, I'm being suspected by all of you. It seems it was actually horrible timing on my part.
I see. You're still holding out. Well, you don't have to admit it. We're going to decide who the killer is with the majority vote anyway. So, why don't we just go ahead and start voting? It's obvious that Gundam is the killer.
Hold on a sec.
You know, Hajime, this class trial, this killing, it's merely the opening act, you know.
What?
Hey! What do you mean the class trial is just the opening act?
Perhaps I should say, it's just a farce. Just a boring farce. So boring, so stressful. I'm so painfully bored that I might develop stomach ulcers. Seriously. Let's just hurry up and finish this before I collapse from poor health.
Nagito, something definitely happened to you, didn't it? At some point during the investigation, your behavior became even weirder.
It was already pretty weird to begin with.
What actually happened? Did you discover something?
Well, let's just leave that fun for later. And finish this opening act already.
You said opening act again!
Please hold on! We have yet to hear Gundam's rebuttal!
But he's completely shut up. Perhaps he can't argue anymore.
Gundam!
I was simply at a loss for words after being dumbfounded by your pathetic assumption. In fact, I shall deny the very basis. Your assumption has been wrong since the beginning.
Since the beginning?
Based on your assumption, I hung Nekomaru from the 4th floor of the tower and made the floor descend to the 1st floor. From there, after returning to Strawberry House, I was present when the alarm at the lounge went off, correct? Although going to and fro is busy enough as it is, how would I be able to travel between both houses anyway?
I see. The contact elevator was broken.
As I recall, the killer tampered with the Grape House control panel, which shut down the elevator. Plus, the stopped elevator should have been facing the Grape House side. If so, the human who used the elevator would have left it at Grape House. For these reasons, it's an indisputable fact that the killer destroyed the elevator at Grape House.
And what's wrong with that?
If the elevator was broken at Grape House, you wouldn't be able to return to Strawberry House.
However, I was already at Strawberry House. I was present when the alarm in the lounge started ringing, which means your assumption is clearly wrong.
Or
Are you
using
serious? And here I thought it's already been decided.
Have you learned your lesson, pitiful humans? You cannot overcome this contradiction. That elevator was... the only means of travel between the two houses. As long as that elevator was broken, your assumption collapses.
Plus, the elevator was broken at Grape House.
If the killer cannot return to Strawberry House...
Since I was at Strawberry House at that time, there's no question that the following crime is impossible.
It would have been different if they had an accomplice.
Or if there was a secret passageway.
How much longer do you plan to lecture me? Why don't we stop this already?
Alright, let's shoot through the
That elevator
complication.
was the only means of travel between.
No, that's wrong!
Recovers help from that?
No, there should have been another way to move between the two houses without the elevator.
Such a method does not exist!
I believe it does.
Then why don't we ask the person who actually used that method?
This is easy. Oh, where are you, Nagi?
You're the only one!
I don't recover that much
Nagito,
health.
you should know.
What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb. You appeared so suddenly that one time because you used that method, right? There's a secret passage connecting the first floor of Strawberry House to the third floor of Grape House. Isn't that right?
Jeez. Once again, I let the reserve course show up. But you're right. There's a door on the floor of the Octagon, which is on the first floor of Strawberry House. After I opened the door and went down, surprise, surprise! I ended up in the Monokuma Archive, which is on the third floor of Grape House.
Meaning, the third floor and the fourth floor are actually connected.
Plus, once you've cleared the final dead room once, you can pass through it as many times as you want.
If they used that secret passage, they could have gone between the two houses as much as they wanted.
Infinity Unlimited Flame!
The hell?
However, what if the killer was unaware of the existence of the final dead room?
There's no way they didn't know.
That is merely an illusion you have fabricated from your own suspicion. If you value your life, you should stop with your scrutiny.
There's no way I can stop.
What did you say? Don't make me angry! You wouldn't like me when I'm angry!
Apparently he's the Hulk now. Oh well.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities? Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities? Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities? Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
This is really hard.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
I can't back down!
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities? Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities? Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities? Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
Okay, I used too many.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
Nice.
I already proved the secret passage exists.
Finally.
The secret passage was at the Octagon.
Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the mail, at least pray to the key which dwells in the light! Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't at least pray to the key which dwells in the light!
Damn it!
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
I'm screwed.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
I can't back down!
Okay.
I already proved the secret passage exists. The secret passage was at the Octagon.
Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! You don't want at least pray to the key which dwells in the light!
Damn it!
Ah, crud.
Even if the turbid box doesn't exist...
I thought I could make this without dying. I was doing well on the logic side. Apparently just screwed up the skill.
This is our end? We will never give up!
Let's redo this.
Even...
Okay. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to the chain back there. I think that's it. That's logic, right?
You could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities? Even if the turbid box doesn't exist, you could travel through multiple planes, provided you use a spacious wormhole. However, how frail I say! Your decayed illusion. Shall I feed you to the progeny of vile deities?
I already proved the secret passage exists. The secret passage was at the Octagon.
Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't at least pray to the key which dwells in the light! Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion.
Crap!
Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion.
Crap!
Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion.
Crap!
Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion, at least pray to the key which dwells in the light!
I got it.
Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion.
Crap!
Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion.
Crap!
Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion.
Crap!
Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't at least pray to the key which dwells in the light! Know the limits of your own reasoning! You say the killer went to the Octagon? Don't bark, you cur! If you don't want to drown in the maelstrom.
Allow me to cut through those words!
Why is the wire doing anything?
The wire used to string up Nekomaru's body, the hammer that looked like the weapon, and the chain on the door in the tower. Those are all the items that weren't in Funhouse. Where did the killer obtain them?
The only place I can think of is the Octagon. There were various weapons and tools there. I'm pretty sure I saw stuff like wires, hammers, and chains too.
Since those items were used in the crime, there's no doubt that the killer went to the Octagon.
If that's the case, they obviously know about the secret passage too, right?
Obviously. Long we've been at it. Alright. We're gonna stop here and let's back up.